First, fast, and accurate. News Channel 25, WVTT.
Now our first look at weather here on WVTT. Those cold temperatures around for a while. We only made it up to 11 degrees earlier today with snow flurries around. Overnight tonight, those snow flurries continue. Low temperature of 5. And tomorrow, snow flurries, maybe a stray snow shower or two. High temperature tomorrow, 17. Well, that's all we're getting.
It didn't really seem that much colder today, though. I felt a little bit warmer walking out of my house.
Yeah, we added maybe 5 degrees to the temperature from the day before. Tomorrow, we're adding another 5 degrees or so to the temperature today. Also do want to point out some of the higher elevations could see as much as an inch, maybe a couple of inches. Full weather details from Chief Forecaster Rod Tanner coming up later on tonight here on Twin Tiers Evening News on WVTT.
Global news update on WVTT.
The Colosseum in Rome is over 2,000 years old. Archaeologists have been studying it for hundreds of years. They're thrilled by what they just uncovered on the Colosseum's walls. CNN's Ben Wiedemann has our story from Rome.
It's been a while, about 1,400 years, since the Colosseum last hosted any bloody spectacles. Since then, earthquakes, scavengers, time and grime have taken their toll. In a corridor off limits to the public for decades, a project to clear away the accumulated dirt and dust has uncovered patches of red plaster dating back to a major repair work done on the Colosseum after a massive fire in 217 AD. Despite what you may have seen in the movies, ancient monuments and statues were painted in the most vivid of colors, and the internal passageways of the Colosseum were, in the words of one of the archaeologists here, in Technicolor. Archaeologists long suspected this masterpiece of Roman architecture was not monochrome, says Colosseum director Rossella Rea. We had never found proof, she says, but thanks to this simple cleaning work, we now know that not only the lower parts of the corridor, but also the upper areas had decorations. Red, green, blue, and white would have been the colors of choice, but it wasn't just the interior decorators who left their mark here. Some unknown fan scrawled some naughty bits on the walls. The phallus symbolized fertility and prosperity in Roman times. Someone else left a now faded drawing of a crown of laurels given to the victors in the arena. This writing is not an advertisement for wine, but more likely the abbreviation of Vindici, a common name for gladiators. Everything uncovered here, restorer Alessandro Danesi tells me, is a clue to the past. Even dirt is an important indicator, he says, of use, of neglect, of every object's historical phases. And in this case, dirt that has concealed the Colosseum's not just blood-spattered, but also colorful past. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Rome.
Well, President Barack Obama's second-term inauguration is now one for the history books, but it didn't go over well with one Republican leader in Pennsylvania. The man protested the celebration, sending out a national distress call by hanging the U.S. flag upside down. Julie Fine reports.
When we got to Washington Boulevard in Portview, this is what we found.
I just think it's wrong.
You got a protest right to me in a letter.
I believe it is disrespectful.
I just think people are frustrated with the way the country's going, so I can see people doing that.
Sometimes, people need a strong statement.
Brent Kovac tells me he's frustrated. He's the Mon Valley Republican chair who put them outside the committee offices to protest the inauguration.
The nation's in distress, and the flag, this isn't the first time this has been done, whether you agree with the sentiment or not.
Channel 11 News.
Many don't. Some who contacted the newsroom, many on our Facebook page.
What about the email that says, I, for one, am completely and totally disgusted?
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Military people fight for that flag every day. What do you say to them?
some of them might be flying their flag upside down today too.
You're telling me you think someone in the military is flying their flag upside down today?
I didn't say that I know that, but I said I bet there's somebody in the military out there flying their flag upside down today.
Brent told me the flags would just be displayed like this for the day, and when it got dark, he said he would take them down. We were there when he did.
What do you think you've accomplished by this?
I think I've, created a little bit of dialogue.
An East Texas toddler is dead after being crushed by a school bus. Investigators say the young child's mother was preparing to greet other children getting off the bus when the toddler was hit. Field Sutton reports.
Hours after a school bus hit and killed 15-month-old Ara Preciado, her family was still too upset to talk on camera. Ara's dad told us he had no words to describe what it feels like to lose his little girl, asking for prayers and peace. Crystal Moncrief lives down the street, and she came running when she heard the screams.
And then the bus driver got off the bus, and she was hysterical. And I told her to get that bus, move that bus, so the other kids do not see that baby, because the baby was dead.
Moncrief helped Ara's mom call 911. DPS says Ara ran out in front of the bus through a gate at the end of the family's driveway. It happened while Ara's mom was on the far side of the bus, waiting for another child with no way of seeing back toward the house. But neighbors on the other side knew something bad was about to happen.
They were banging on the bus to get the bus driver to stop.
By the time the driver stopped, DPS says she'd already knocked Ara over and then crushed her under the rear wheels.
It is difficult. We want to make sure that we provide the family with as much information as we can and show support for those that are affected by it.
Investigators are still sifting through witness statements to decide whether to file charges.
We'll wait to compile all of that information and get a complete picture before we even look into anything in that direction.
The rest of this neighborhood is just waiting.
There's nothing you can do now but pray.
A mixed bag on Wall Street. Let's take a look at the WVTT Wall Street wrap-up. It's presented by News Radio 96.7 WVTT. Boeing Corporation lifted the Dow up nearly 46 points today. The Dow closing at 13,825, but the NASDAQ down a little over 23, closing at 3130, and nearly flat for the S&P 500, closing at 1494.83. Coming up on Twin Tiers Evening News, WVTT Sports, also a look at our community calendar, and Chief Forecaster Rod Tanner will have the WVTT Severe Weather Action Team forecast. It's straight ahead here on News Channel 25 WVTT.